Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. With the participation of more than 100 specialists, the first edition of Oman Human Resources Forum starts. The logistics zone in the Governorate of South Batna is to be operated jointly by the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And the phenomena of fake accounts in the social media means that carried well-known Omani titles is increased. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The first edition of Oman Human Resources Forum, organized by Al-Ru'ya newspaper, took place at the Crown Plaza Hotel Muscat in Hayy al-Arfan today, under the patronage of Sheikh Khalid bin Umar Al-Marhoon, Minister of Civil Service. More details in the following report by Saleh bin Khalfan Al-Rahbi.
Entitled Rehabilitation, Empowerment and Employment, Oman Human Resources Forum, in its first edition, focused on the challenges facing the Sultanate at the current stage in terms of human resources development, employment challenges, and empowerment of small and medium enterprises. In addition, it highlighted career promotion issues and linking them to performance.
There are many challenges facing human resources in all sectors. As we know, there are three main parties: service providers, beneficiaries, and legislative parties. All of these parties have certain challenges. What is good about this forum is that it involves all of these parties. So we look forward to getting a fruitful outcome from these discussions.
The forum also shed light on the success stories of a number of beneficiaries of the funding provided by Raft Fund, with the participation of a group of experts, specialists and officials related to human resources. The forum included 4 working sessions on the topics of investing in national human resources, entrepreneurship and success methods, training and competency management, and strategies and training objectives for human resources. For the Sultanate of Oman Television English News, Saleh bin Khalfan Al-Rahbi, Muscat.
Project of individual performance system will be started this year and will continue for 3 years. This was stressed by His Excellency Sayyid Salim bin Musallam Al-Busaidi, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Civil Service for Administrative Development Affairs. At Shura Council, His Excellency the Minister of Transport and Communications presented to the members of the Shura Council various areas of development at his ministry. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubi'i.
The logistics zone in the Governorate of South Al-Batna will be operated by the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That was stressed by His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al-Futaisi, Minister of Transport and Communications, before Shura Council. The minister added that the contribution of the logistics sector to the Sultanate gross domestic product (GDP) reached 1.2 billion Omani Riyals annually. Shura Council members emphasized on the necessity to speed up the process of asphalting roads in the outskirts and providing services and facilities there. The members pointed out that Omanization percentage in Oman Air is not correct, and that the Minister of Transport and Communications mentioned the changes in the organizational structure of the national carrier of the Sultanate. The minister added that air freight and air traffic movement will increase as the new Muscat International Airport comes into operation. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television.
The Center of Excellence in Teaching and Learning, CETL, at Sultan Qaboos University SQU was officially opened at a ceremony held under the patronage of His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Saud Al-Bimani, SQU Vice Chancellor. CETL seeks to provide services to academic faculty, thus enhancing the quality of teaching and learning, first at SQU, then at both public and private higher education institutions nationally. CETL also makes visible the intellectual work of teaching while recognizing excellent faculty fellows across the SQU colleges. Still to come in our news bulletin. With sole Omani expertise, a concrete pumping equipment in oil fields is launched. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Russia's foreign minister said today that he believes a ceasefire in Syria could work as long as all parties agree on concrete parameters. Speaking at a news conference in Moscow, Sergei Lavrov said that all those involved in the conflict, including those outside Syria, had to confirm to the UN demands to ensure a pause of at least 30 days. The United Nations Security Council unanimously adopted a resolution over the weekend demanding the 30-day truce across Syria. Lavrov also alleged that reports of a chlorine gas attack in eastern Ghouta were part of a media campaign emanating from an anonymous person in the United States. Residents of the Syrian capital Damascus woke up to the news that world powers had reached an agreement to demand a ceasefire in the war-torn country. Damascus and its embattled eastern suburbs were relatively calm today, following the United Nations Security Council's unanimous approval of the resolution demanding a 30-day ceasefire across Syria. Local activists reported few violations, including some clashes on the southern edge of the rebel-held suburbs of eastern Ghouta. The UN resolution does not include the Daesh group and Al-Qaeda-linked fighters. A family of Venezuelan immigrants to Colombia are repurposing their worthless Bolivar notes into origami-made paper wallets, belts, and even purses as the currency plunges further in value amid four-digit inflation. Each item produced by Richard Segovia fetches between $10 and $15 US, a huge markup from the pennies the stacks of bolivars used to be worth on Venezuela's black market. The 24-year-old arrived 2 months ago at the Colombian border city of Cucuta, fleeing a dead-end job at a warehouse in Venezuela where he was making the equivalent of just $2.5 US a month. He came up with the idea to make artwork out of misery. One night when he and his cousin back in Caracas were staring at a pile of cash, so he started folding and creasing Venezuela's colorful bills into trinkets and eventually larger creations like purses and bags. Each item consists of around 800 to 1,000, mostly 50 and 100 Bolivar notes, which is less than 50 US cents. Storm crews have confirmed 2 EF2 tornadoes touched down in Middle Tennessee and Kentucky in the U.S. over the weekend. One of the tornadoes struck in south-central Kentucky, causing homes to collapse and cars to flip over. Another tornado hit near Clarksville, Tennessee. The National Weather Service in Nashville, Tennessee said the tornadoes had maximum sustained winds of 193 kilometers per hour. Severe weather this weekend has caused at least 5 deaths in the central U.S. Romans woke up to a rare snowfall today after an Arctic storm passing over much of Europe dumped enough snow to force schools to close and public transport to reduce services. The heavy snowfall overnight covered Rome's famed monuments in a white blanket today. Tourists gathered under umbrellas at the Trevi fountain, snapping photos and taking videos of the unusual sight of the fountain in the snow. At Rome's Spanish Steps, a local tried on snow houses as others photographed the Baracacia fountain. In Piazza del Popolo, the famous lion fountains were wearing a white fluff. Schools were closed due to the inclement weather. Even the Circus Maximus, an ancient Roman chariot racing stadium, became a hotspot for snowball fights. Phenomena of fake social media accounts that carried well-known Omani titles are increasing, and their activities are interacted with the expansion of social discussions on social media applications. Specialists said that the existence of these fake accounts go back to those companies who work on buying them for multifarious goals, such as influencing the public's opinion on a number of social cases. The modern technology which produced social media means formed no barriers, and recently a number of owners of such social media applications noticed the dangers that exist, what are called electronic armies, which forced them to take a number of precautionary steps to stop their expansion. Activities of Awareness Forum for Suspicious Financial Transactions started in Supreme Council for Judiciary. It is organized by the National Financial Information Center of Royal Oman Police with the participation of a number of specialists from the public and private sectors. The forum is meant to acquaint the participants with the experiences of other countries and financial investigations of money laundering and terrorism financing. It also reviewed the international developments in the remittances field, in addition to procedures and systems of assessing risks and the indices of suspicious financial transactions. The National Defense College today hosted Nikolai Mladinov, a UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East Peace Process, to give lectures on the United Nations and the Security Council. In his first lecture themed the United Nations and its role in the maintenance of international peace and security, the lecturer addressed a range of topics that included the nature of work of the UN bodies and system, the general principles and rules of the UN Charter, the UN role in supporting international development and peace programs, as well as challenges facing the UN in tackling global issues. Al-Sharqiyya University held a ceremony to mark the start of the 5th Students' Cultural Week, which consists of a number of various activities showcasing the students' outcome in several aspects. The week is inaugurated by His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Nasser Al-Harrasi, Chairman of the Public Authority for Radio and Television. Here is a report.
The Cultural Week held at Al-Sharqiyya University emphasizes the importance of cooperation among higher education institutions, along with other government and public authorities, in enriching the students' academic environment and supporting their capabilities.
This is the 5th version of the Student Week here at Sharqiyya University. The Student Cultural Week is now an annual event in Sharqiyya University. And we, as the management of Sharqiyya University, feel that this is one of the most important events which happen here, because in addition to the curriculum activities, the extracurricular activities plays a major role in developing the skills of the students here at Sharqiyya University. Students come from this university to discuss the challenges they face and to propose solutions. Those solutions are then forwarded to the Ministry of Higher Education for consideration. We are proud that at Sharqiyya University we are taking a leading role in all these events.
The successes achieved by students' enterprises at the university were demonstrated at the exhibition accompanying the event, which is meant to introduce the students' talents and projects and would contribute in rendering those projects to private and public companies willing to benefit from such products.
It will be useful for the student to learn new things from other colleges and other companies, which is good for the future. And more visitors was from outside. That will help them to have a knowledge about the university and about the events.
The university's interest in practical activities comes in its belief in the importance of building the students' integrated personalities from all scientific, cultural and academic aspects. The week will also include scientific forums, training workshops, an educational festival and some stage performances.
The Council of Administrative Affairs for Judiciary signed at the Supreme Court an agreement with the National Records and Archives Authority to apply the system of classifying the periods of keeping the special documents of the Council. The Records Department at the Council works on applying the system and supervising the Council's directorates, in addition to providing all technical support in cooperation with the technical support team at the authority. Omani youths achieved developing equipment with innovative thoughts and international expertise that works of pumping concrete mix at oil and gas fields underground for more than 5 kilometers deep. The project came in line with the government's plans to diversify the sources of income and support Omani institutions, in addition to encouraging local investments and benefiting from youths' abilities and activating their practical abilities and scientific qualifications. More than 80% of items in these equipment are manufactured locally. Under the theme, The Global Leader of the Future, and with the participation of the international leadership expert Goldsmith, the activities of the 6th Annual Leadership Conference kicked off in Muscat. The conference aims to provide the participants with leadership and interactive skills. Such activity opens new horizons for the participants on the importance of development in the administrative and training aspects. It as well affirms the importance of human resources, as they are considered core to development in every organization. It also focused on the characteristics of a successful global leader. The conference included a number of work papers on how to be a successful leader and challenges being faced by these leaders. The event was presided over by His Highness Sayyid Dr. Fahd bin Al-Julanda Al Said. Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with chances of low clouds and fog late at night over the governorates of Al-Dhahira and Al-Buraimi. Winds will be northerly to northwesterly, light to moderate, while seas will be moderate to rough with a maximum wave height of 2.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main headlines once again. With the participation of more than 100 specialists, the first edition of Oman Human Resources Forum starts. The logistics zone in the governorate of South Batana is to be operated jointly by the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And phenomena of fake accounts in the social media means that carried well-known Omani titles is increased. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.